What a nice gathering. You guys do this often?
As often as we can.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Always wonderful to see all these wonderful people. How does Tucson, we only have 1 million people, but how do we get so many wonderful people? That's what I don't understand. You know, what are the chances that the percentage of really great folks is really high in this town? I'm telling you. So, this is our last Bhagavad Gita class for me to be with you. It's my last here, so, but we'll talk about that more later. But I would like to ask that all of you carry it on. You know, while I'm gone, I know you're going to do it every Wednesday night. But I don't mean just do it, but I mean with, what's that word? Gusto. Gusto.
Gusto.
Gusto. You know, with enthusiasm. You see, it's not that it would really break my heart if it got to the point where it's like, oh, it's Wednesday night, I got to do this Bhagavad Gita class. That is just, it should be, wow, it's Wednesday night. We're going to Bhagavad Gita class. Oh, right. When you see it's Wednesday, you think, God, it's Wednesday. Oh, right. You know, I know I'm going to see all my friends. We're going to get together. We're going to chant Hare Krishna. And we're going to listen to Bhagavad Gita. So if you would do that for me, that's my prayer to all of you. Please, with enthusiasm, keep this and build it. Bring your friends, co-workers, everybody, you see. And try to introduce them to this Krishna consciousness. So, I'm going to talk about a verse tonight. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 6th verse. I'm marking this place with a little poem that Gandhi wrote for me, which I thought was really great. I didn't know he was such a poet, but he really is. I'll read the Sanskrit and then the translation. Na tad vahasyate suryo na sashanko na pavakaha yagatva na nivartante tadama paramam mama. Translation. This is Krishna talking. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or the moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Krishna is talking about his home. The goal that we're all shooting for. You see, we're all shooting for that same, and we may say, well, no, I don't want to go there right now, but ultimately you will. We all want to go back to where we came from. This is the origin of the species. All living entities originated from Goloka Vrindavan. We were all part and parcel, we were all being with Krishna, loving with Krishna, playing with Krishna, serving Krishna, and exchanging love with Krishna. So I'll say, and you can repeat if you will, that supreme abode of mine, is not illuminated, by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it, never return to this material world. Purport. Srila Prabhupada says, the spiritual world, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, which is known as Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity, because all the planets are self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous. But all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. The shining effulgence of all these planets, called Vaikunthas, constitutes the shining sky known as the Brahmajyoti. Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan. Part of that shining effulgence is covered by the Mahatattva, the material world. Other than this, the major portion of that shining sky is full of spiritual planets, which are called Vaikuntras, chief of which is Goloka Vrindavan. So I'm going to pause here and talk about this first paragraph. We hear so much talk about going into the light, isn't it? You've heard that? Some yogis want to go to the light. And they think, well, the light is, that's all in all. That's it. There's just light. And that's the end, you see. But, we can look at these lights here, and we can see that there's a source of that light. If you look on the inside, there's this little coil of wire, and it glows. You can't see it when you look at it. We just think, oh, it's just light. But there's a source of that light. So, yogis who have achieved perfection. Now, some people think, well, when you achieve perfection, isn't that it? But Krishna says, of those who have achieved perfection, hardly any one of them knows me. What does that perfection mean? To be liberated. Leave the material world and go to the Brahmajyoti. That's the perfection that we're talking about, you see. To go into the light. But hardly one knows the source of that light, you see. Now this may be hard for us to imagine because we think, wow, and all of you, I believe all of you, are trying to go to Krishna. We want Krishna. But many don't know that there's Krishna. Or they want to deny that there is a person, Krishna, you see. The light is there. The light's really where I want to go. And you can tell them, but there's a source of that light. The light is emanating from something. And they want to say, no. And actually they may say, no, that's just kindergarten. That's spiritual kindergarten you're talking about. You bhakti yogis, why don't you guys grow up and realize there is no person, God? There's just this light and the energy, you see. So, Krishna himself is saying that the light of the Brahmajyoti is emanating from what? His planet, Goloka Vrindavan, which is the center and covers the bigger part of the spiritual world. Now, there are innumerable planets called Vaikuntras, which if you transcend through the light, you could land at one of these destinations. Like, I always use the example like Lord Narayan's planet. He is Krishna. What's the difference between Narayan and Krishna, though? If you see Lord Narayan, you don't run up and give him a hug. You don't play a joke on him. You don't hide behind a tree and pull some trick on him as he goes by. Lord Narayan is great. Awe and reverence. When you see him, you just feel like falling down. You grovel. Isn't it? That he inspires awe and reverence. It's very wonderful. And some people, that's all they want. Just awe and reverence. You see. The bhakti yogis want to go to Krishna Loka. Inside of this world. The spiritual world is like the world of a lotus flower. You see, the very center of that lotus flower is Goloka Vrindavan. You see, that's the home of Krishna. Krishna is there. He's there as Narayan too. You see, different personalities though. All right. So, let me read on. If there are any questions or comments at any time, please. Prabhupada continues, as long as a living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditional life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. In his conditional life, the living entity considers himself to be the Lord of this material world. But in his liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There, he knows eternal bliss, eternal life, and full knowledge. That is our eternal constitutional position. We are Sat Chit Ananda. Sat, we are eternal. In other words, there never was a time when there was a time when you did not exist. You have no real beginning. You've always existed. Nor in the future will there ever be a time when you'll cease to be. You're unborn, eternal, undying. Chit means full of knowledge. There's nothing that Krishna doesn't want you to know. There's no hidden knowledge. Krishna wants you to know everything about him. He's not afraid that you're going to get enough knowledge and maybe lead a coup and take over. He doesn't have any insecurities. Krishna knows I'm Krishna. And that says it all. I'm Krishna. He's not concerned about you getting too much knowledge, you see. He wants you to have knowledge. He wants you to know him. The more you know him, the more you become attached to him. You see, you become addicted to this loving relationship that you just can't find anywhere else. You see. And those of us that have come to this material world, we've forgotten, unfortunately, how to love. Now you may say, "Oh no, I really know how to love." You ever hear somebody say, "I've got so much love to give"? I don't have anybody loving me, but I have so much. If you really give love unconditionally, everyone will love you. You can't stop it, you see. So when somebody is feeling, "I don't have enough love in my life," you say, "My dear sir or madam, my dear Prabhu, my dear friend, you need to turn to Krishna if you want love." No, I don't want Krishna. I want the light. You just told me you don't have enough love. We want to go to the light. So, okay, stare at the light. Tell me when you feel love. No, but this light's different. This is a transcendental light. I'll be so peaceful when I merge in the light. I'm not saying you can't do this. You can do it. I would say every one of us in this room has been there, into the light, and you've come back because the light's missing something. Loving exchange. Yes.
What happens if you go to one of the other spiritual planets? Do you then continue your journey and eventually come to Krishna Loka? Or?
No, you're finished.
You're there forever.
No, that's an excellent question. I would expect that from a brilliant mind like yours. Yeah. No, really, this is high level philosophy. It takes really high thinking to arrive at that question. What if I go and I achieve? What if I want to worship God in awe and reverence? And so I achieve liberation on Lord Narayan's planet. And it's just wonderful. I can see him coming miles away and I fall down at his feet. You see, awe and reverence. You see. But I want closer association. I just feel this in my soul. I want more. You come back here.
Oh, so you don't have teachers over there that help you get to the next place?
You come back here. You come back here, take birth in a very elevated family.
Mm-hmm.
You're not born, in some destitute situation or some sinful surrounding or anything like that. You're born in a very, because you've achieved liberation. But you can come back here because you desire closer love, you see. Every one of us wants Krishna. Yeah, it's all Krishna. You see, Yahweh is Krishna. Jehovah is Krishna. Allah is Krishna. They're all Krishna. He has unlimited personalities. But this personality of Krishna is the supreme personality because love is the supreme force. And that's the form of God that we exchange love with. Not just a little bit of love. Tremendous, unbelievable, incalculable love, you see. Ever increasing love. It's not just love, you see. It's ever increasing. It makes us mad. We're madly in love with Krishna forever. You know, in love affairs, typically there's what they call the honeymoon period. You know, you meet someone, you fall head over heels, and there's this honeymoon period where every time you see them, you say, "Oh, hi, dear, how are you?" You know, "Oh, hi, my love, you're so sweet. Nice to see you today." And after a while, that kind of wears off. You start to avoid them, you know. "Good morning." "Ah, shut up, leave me alone." "But when are you going to pick your underwear up off the floor?" You know, it starts to, you know, there's still quote unquote love. But that's not the kind of love we're talking about. We're talking about you get into that honeymoon period with Krishna and it just keeps getting better and better and better, you see. I'm not saying that you may not chastise Krishna sometime. See, with Krishna you can chastise. You won't chastise Lord Narayan. With Krishna you can chastise him. "Krishna, why are you hiding from me all the time?" He may be giggling, thinking, "You know, I was just trying to agitate you." Krishna likes to agitate Radharani, his beloved Radharani. Do you know why he likes to agitate her? He likes the appearance of her eyebrows when she's angry at him. He'll tease her until she's like, "Krishna!" You know, and he thinks that's just so cute. And then he starts to say, "Oh, my dear Radharani," and he starts to talk her into a loving mood. So this is the kind of stuff you got to put up with Krishna. So you're going to get in this relationship, and there's no way out. You don't come back. Could you if you wanted to? We wanted to. That's why we're here. We were in that position with Krishna. And we wanted to see, what else is there? You know, gee whiz, Krishna, you're really great. But first of all, I wonder if there's anything as good, if not better. And secondly, I'm wondering if I'm that thing that could be as good or maybe better than you. I could be. I could be maybe a better Krishna than you. Maybe you could stay here and be Krishna. I can go somewhere else and be Krishna. So here we are. Everyone's trying to lord it over the material world. Everyone wants to be the center of attention. I want to be the center of attention. I meet you and you're so nice and you start to tell me. I say, "Hey, Jorge, tell me about yourself." And you start to tell me. And as soon as I hear you talking, I start thinking, well, I got to tell you about me. Well, I can't wait till he shuts up because I got to tell him about me. And then maybe if you pause to drink some water, I'm going to say, "Oh, yeah, and I..." Blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, you're thinking, "God, this guy, he cut me off. You know, I wanted to tell him about... I got a really interesting story here." And I'm going to listen to you. Okay, here's where you went to school. Here's what you do. Okay, now he takes a breath. And now me, and I, and mine, this is the nature of the living entity that's in the contaminated state of believing we're this body. You see? This is our nature. I'm not trying to put anybody down, you see, but we're like that. If you listen to people, I like to go out sometimes, a lot of times not dressed in my spiritual cloth, but just street clothes, just so I can listen to people, listen to them talk, you know, make mental notes. Well, listen, it's just one-ups, you know. Well, I did this, well, I did that. Last weekend we went here, we've been there 3 or 4 times. Well, next month we're going to Hawaii. My husband took me there 5 times. All right. We're signed up to be the first ones to go on the excursion to the moon. How about that? Oh, we've already been there.
Mars.
Mars. Whatever, you see. So it's the nature where we want to be the center of attention. We can prove it to ourselves if we think about, this is my favorite proof that I offer to everybody. If we think about a group picture of this room, we take the snapshot, develop the picture, and then we pass it around. Who's the first person you look for? Numero uno. Yeah. Want to see me? I'm not going to look for Bob. Maybe later, but first. Oh, darn it, I was blinking. Well, this camera adds 20 pounds. Maybe 30. Got to get a new camera. This thing makes me look fat. Won't they take another picture and I'll try to look. I didn't know you were going to click it at that point, or I would have thought, try to be thinner or more handsome or whatever, you see. So, it's all about me. You see, the problems in the material world, it's all about me. That's opposite of spiritual consciousness. In spiritual consciousness, it's all about Krishna. And it's all about the living entities. Now we may think, why isn't it all about me? A little bit. Because when you have proper consciousness, when you have spiritual consciousness, when you find self-realization, boy, there's a term that they kick around a lot. What the heck does that mean? Has anybody ever really told you what that is? You hear it a lot, the New Agers they're kicking it around like soccer, like a soccer game. Self-realization. They even have self-realization courses. They teach you to look within and to plug into the what is this? Universal energy that permeates the cosmos. Okay, and you walk away not knowing any more than you did when you walked in the door. Self-realization means to realize the self. You. Identify you. Who are you? What are you? What is your purpose? And how do I get it? Not just to think about, something to kick around in my mind and say pretty words. No, what is the self? Self-realization is very simple. You can have it in a split second if you'll grab hold of it. Self-realization means I, meaning me, the soul, not the body, but the soul, this eternal being that we're talking about. I am an eternal servant of God. Now I've identified what I am. I am an eternal servant of God. I'm not this body. I'm not an American. I'm not of this. I'm not of that. I don't have this preference or that preference. I prefer to serve Krishna. I am lusty to serve Krishna. And I'm not really lusty for anything else. My lust is driven to serve Krishna. That's the taste that I want. That's the taste that gives me ecstasy. When I turn my lust towards satisfying the senses of this body, well, then I have to compete with everybody else that's doing the same thing. You see? I want to enjoy you, but you want to enjoy me first. You see? If we can just hang on to that thought, I'm an eternal servant of God. Now, if you say I'm an eternal servant of Krishna, that means I'm an eternal loving servant of God, of Krishna. You see. Now I know who I am and I know what my purpose is. And I know the target to shoot for. So I will perform activities that a loving, eternal servant of Krishna would do, because I don't want to continue on this misunderstanding that I am this body. I don't want to go back to the darkness of ignorance. You see, I'm an eternal, loving servant of Krishna. So therefore, with that understanding, with that self-realization, there is no other realization above and beyond that. There just isn't. And once you really taste it, then you'll understand why. It's like this cheesecake that Mother Sundamani made today for Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. You look at it and you think, wow, that looks beautiful. Wasn't it great? You look, oh, this looks good. Which piece is bigger? I want to eat the biggest piece because if I don't, somebody else might get it. So it's all really all about me. So it looks really good, but as soon as I taste it, now I'm sold. When I taste it, it's even better than it looks. It's better than I could conceive. Had all these things going on in my mind about how that blueberry cheesecake is going to taste. But it was just far exceeding my expectations, you see. So this is self-realization. You think it, now taste it. You see it, you've examined it, you've kicked the tires. Now taste it. And then when you taste it, you think, oh, this is all I want. And there'll be some attempts from the material energy to draw your attention back to being an American, being a human being. You see, the world will say, well, what about doing humanitarian things? Wouldn't you rather donate your time and energy to opening a hospital for children? I mean, isn't that better? No, it's not. Because if I can mend bodies and I don't do anything to mend consciousness, I've done nothing, really. Done nothing to mend consciousness. Somebody says, but I'm suffering from this, and you fix him. Medically, you fix him somehow. But he's still in the darkness of ignorance. What have you done? You see? I'm not saying that we don't help sick children, because we do. First and foremost, save yourself. It's like if you're on the airplane, and the cabin loses pressure and the masks come down, and you've got a child with you. Put the mask on yourself first, right? So now I'm okay, I can breathe, so now I can assist those around me. Save yourself. Come to the realization that I'm an eternal servant of God. And now, let me assist everyone else. Once we get people on that track of everybody realizing who they are, we can treat bodies, we can do, we can do the cruelty for animal thing, we can do it all. First, let's mend the souls. You see, that's the most important job. Everything else, every other charity comes with that. You see. Yeah.
I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about, because you've given so many nice talks about this relationship, this sweet relationship with Krishna that we should have. And being around you, I feel like you found that relationship. And I think, well, how did Jivananda Prabhu get there? Because what I see here in Tucson is people coming and hearing this philosophy, coming to the temple, but in practical terms, we're not doing enough and we're not experiencing the relationship. And I feel like Jivananda Prabhu, I know, without even discussing with you that you have done so many things in the past. You didn't just come, hear philosophy, go back and forth to your house and grow in your relationship. And part of the reason I'm thinking about this is because, like, we just had our Diwali festival, and Mother Sundami is always asking for people to participate and give donations and whatnot. So we see who's here. All of our group is here, and we have a great group of people, sincere people, and we see our donation board, and it's full of Indian names that I don't even know. I know these people. Who are they? So they're participating. We're coming to the festival, but also this morning we had a nice gathering. If some of you came, and I feel like these are all opportunities for us to participate and grow in Krishna consciousness. So what is happening? Mother Sundami is getting another thing thrown on her to spin around and do all this work for her, and nobody's helping her. Nobody's really, I didn't see anyone giving donations. I didn't see anyone bringing dishes that help, with the food. I see Mother Sundami trying to make salad and rice and this dessert you're talking about, on top of everything else she's trying to do, and nobody helping her. And, the temple room wasn't really set up right, and nobody's really helping. I mean, some people do a little cleaning maybe, but I just feel like overall, from what I've seen, the community here in Tucson is coming to the temple and they're hearing all these nice things, but they don't really get practically how to participate, which is really crucial to making something out of all this philosophy that we're hearing from you.
Well, I agree. I think they are tasting. It's a gradual process. It is. It's like you bite it off, and this philosophy, and then you have to chew it for a while before you can swallow it and digest it. You see what I mean? Before it to fructify, there's a process. There's a lag time. So I know what you mean. I see tremendous devotion in the community, but it's not mature yet. The devotion is here much more so than other temples that I visit, you see. And the quality, the level of devotion per person, per individual, let's say on an individual basis, is higher than most places that I go, you see. I mean, everybody here has a higher level. Is it mature? Not in enough people yet, It's just like if we have a disease and we go to the hospital, you see, we're still diseased. We've taken the right step and we're there. Now we're getting treatment and we're starting to get well, but we're not ready to be dismissed yet from the hospital. You see, does that make any sense? Some people have been there and they're halfway through. The treatment's halfway done. They're half cured. Some people have been there a long time and they're about to be dismissed pretty soon, you see. But others have checked in and they've been there for a while, and the process, the treatment is starting to work. Now, is it working to the level that we might say, that's what I want? Probably not, but we're happy that people are in the hospital getting treatment, you see. I mean, I see what you mean. I spend a lot of time thinking of how can we help Mother Sundami. She's like a blur. I see her everywhere I go, She has festival after festival after festival, and she does the lion's share of the work. When there's a special event, she's always saying, we don't have any cooks here. We have a restaurant, but we don't have any cooks. They're busy cooking. They're doing, so many hours a week. They're cooking. So she's thinking, rather than ask them to cook on their day off, because I'm going to fry them out, I would rather fry myself out. So here she's in there cooking. I learned a long time ago, everywhere I go, when there's like a home program or something like that, and she's sending this prasadam, I would come back, years ago, I would come back and say, wow, that was really great last night. Who did that? Oh, I did. Who made the khichdi? Oh, I did. Oh, that was really great. Who made that salad? Oh, I did that. Oh, that was delicious. Well, who made? Oh, no, I did that. So after a long time, I realized I just come back and say, man, that was great. You did something else. You know, she's always pulling these recipes out of her sleeve and making it happen. You know. So I think what you want is to see her help, but we can't harvest the fruit before it's ripe.
No, but we all know how to help and do simple, practical things. And I just think that, me included, we're all being lazy. You know? We're letting Mother Sindama try to figure it all out and do it herself. In a lot of ways. You know, Indian people are not like that. They understand that this is all for us to do. You know, we are the temple. We provide the money. We, you know, give things in the way of flowers and food. And, you know, the temple is us. That's the attitude. But here it's kind of different. Now I know we have more now. People are getting more seriously interested, partly thanks to you being here, and it is getting better. But when I came here, at least for the first 2 or 3 years, I think people have been coming for years and years and years, just coming to programs and not really participating. So,
but things have changed.
Yeah, they're getting better, but
Yeah.
I think they could. You know, like I said, you know.
Well, devotional service is ever increasing, so it is increasing. Is it increasing at the level that we want? Maybe not, but we just have to follow her example. Just get in there and do it. You know, that's what she does. She just gets in there and does it. She can think of a million things to do.
If we want to feel this loving relationship with Krishna, we can't just sit and listen to it and not do anything.
No, Krishna says, all right, you want this loving relationship with me. Wonderful. That's beautiful news. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, you go first. You're the one who left. Krishna says, you're the one who left. You left to equal me or to enjoy separate from me. And now I'm going to give you all this mercy. I'm going to give you so much opportunity. So you want to have this loving relationship with me. Okay, it's your chance. Here's your time. You're on. This isn't rehearsal. This is live. Ta-da. So do as you will. You see. So, anyway, I do think that people are doing quite well. Can we do better? Yes. Yes. We can do so much better. As Krishna becomes the center of your life, you become driven to please him. Driven.
I thought of a funny statement by a devotee in San Diego said, Bhakti yoga is not a spectator sport. We would always try to say.
Yeah. But we have to learn. See, our purpose is to teach. To teach Bhakti yoga. We do it by performing. You see, they say practice makes perfect. I disagree. Practice gets you ready to do. Doing makes you perfect. You see, practice isn't under stress. The soldiers that go into battle after they took basic training, they've learned how to shoot, but they've never learned how to shoot when being shot at. Now all of a sudden they're on the front lines. They become really good soldiers. What do they call it? On-the-job training, right? You can have the classroom. You can learn it and learn it and learn it. But then when you get in the real world, boom, now learning how to apply that, then you become perfect. So doing makes perfect. I remember when these MBAs used to come, people with masters of business administration used to come into the sales world after all their years of education. And I didn't have an MBA. There were times when I had this position, and so now they're working for me, and I tell them, okay, here's what I want you to do. First of all, I'm really glad, I'm impressed with your credentials, your degree, and the letters at the end of your name are very, very impressive. And so now it's time to get your nose bloodied. It's time to get in the ring and start throwing punches. And you're going to learn what it's really like. And your education is going to help you some. But you're going to really learn now what it's like on the street when he's getting out the cell. We used to say, this guy's really great, he's well educated. First now, the next thing to do is get him out there and get his nose bloodied. Meaning get out there and get into the fight. So, the application is where it's at, and everyone's coming along. Everyone's coming along. So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Anything else before I go on? Excuse me.
I have another question. I have a million questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Is bhakti a part of the other branches? I mean, isn't it? Don't you have to have devotion, whether it's jhana yoga or karma yoga, or whatever way you're approaching to have self-realization? Isn't bhakti absolutely necessary in all of those forms? I mean, you can't really divorce devotion, can you, from
But see,
techniques?
bhakti is performed with love. So you can perform jnana, the accumulation of knowledge. But what is the love factor coming? What is it that you're loving? See, the jnana yogis typically they're accumulating knowledge, so that I can show that guy over there that I know more than he knows.
But I mean, don't you have to have bhakti no matter what in all of your...
Determination.
Like what he was mentioning, isn't that karma yoga? I'm trying to just understand what the differences are.
Karma yoga means basically I want to do some activities and receive some result. What goes around comes around. As you sow,
So you're
so
doing
shall you
it for
reap.
a selfish reason more than just out of love? Is that what you
There's
mean?
some love there. There's some love there. Yeah. And if I practice it long enough, karma yoga, then I'm going to become attracted to Krishna. And then bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga means I'm doing it for you. Not, in other words, I stop asking Lord for my daily bread, which is okay. We're not putting that down. That's fabulous. I want to do for you so that you, what can I do for you so that you will give me what I want, what I need?
But if I understand you correctly, if you get to a point where you say, all I really want is you,
All I want is you.
then...
Prabhupada used to say, daily bread, don't pray for daily bread. Daily bread is there. It's there for the birds and the squirrels. If Krishna is taking care of the mosquitoes, the snakes, all these animals, why wouldn't he take care of you?
So this is the way I'm leading. So if somebody has a deep and abiding, loving relationship with Jesus Christ, for instance, and that's where they're at with it, that they just want to serve the Lord and love the Lord and serve people through him, are they having, in essence, a relationship with Krishna? Do you follow what I mean?
They are, in a roundabout way. They are. Because if you're performing, you can perform bhakti yoga to Lord Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you can say, my dear Lord Jesus, for all these years I've been praying to you. Give me this, give me that, give me a date for the prom, give me good grades, give me, And now I come to realize that I'm attached to you and your happiness. And I pray give me something that I can do for you. I don't want anything in return. My cup runneth over. I don't need anything. I don't want anything except to see you smile. I want you to be pleased upon me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Let me serve you. That is bhakti yoga.
So some of the saints, for instance, very high saints like Teresa of Avila or some of the others, all they did was serve. That's all they did. They asked for nothing, hide all their suffering.
How do you think they became saints?
So
They
that-
became
Okay.
selfless. You never see a saint, correct me you never see a saint that had some agenda for the self. The saints have zero, nada self-interest. No self-interest.
So then, do they go to Krishna Loka? I mean, like, what I'm trying to understand is the kind of the oneness of it, of the teaching.
They've pleased Krishna greatly. What he will do, will they go straight to Krishna Loka? I don't know. Will he send them into a very glorious birth? Maybe not on this planet, but someplace else. So that they can experience further. And he'll give them a reward. I mean, it's going to be a reward. What it will be, boy, that's between them. But we know it's going to be really fantastic. He's going to give them devotional service. Because when you become selfless, you just want to perform devotional service to the Lord. I want to do for you. Now, as soon as we get a taste of that, just a couple of drops of that, we start to have this desire to perform devotional service to all living entities. Because when I come to the platform of self-realization, I realize, hey, I don't have to worry about me anymore. Do you know who I am? I'm a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm his personal servant. I'm his personal aide. I'm his personal lover. So I'm okay. I don't have to worry about me or my position. I don't have anything to strive for. I'm already there. You see? So now let me carry out my position. My situation is to serve. And I don't have to worry about me. Well, he takes care of me. He always has. That's self-realization. You're always taking care of me, my Lord. You always have. You always will. Having faith in Krishna means he'll take care of me. I don't have to worry. Whatever. Just let me serve you. You see. We have to stop thinking, well, you're God. What do you need? What about me? I'm not God. I'm struggling. I need. Okay, you got a pen and paper because yours comes on the list. First of all, I need. You see. Stop thinking. Well, he's God. He's got everything. Look at all the resources the guy has. All he has to do is snap his fingers and boom, there, whatever he wants. And he's doing that for me. I got to struggle out here. I got to beg him every day for this or that. He doesn't always give me what I want. I wanted to go to the prom with Mary Jo. I didn't get it. Prayed for a year. See what I mean?
That was Krishna's mercy.
Yeah. You always find out in the end it was Krishna's mercy.
Yes.
She turned out to be whatever, so.
Be careful what you spelled Mary Jo. What's my mom's name?
Oh! I didn't mean that Mary Jo.
Okay.
I meant the evil Mary Jo.
That is her mom. It's interesting how faith in Krishna leads to action.
Yeah.
And the Hebrew scriptures say faith without works is dead.
Faith with what?
faith without works is dead.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have to take our devotional creeper. It's like the Bhakti Lata Bij, the devotional creeper. If you plant the seed of devotion, a little creeper, a little sprout will come up. Like planting a tulsi plant. You get a little sprout, you know. And then you water it, give it proper light, and you'll see it grows. Then proper fertilization and care and love, and it will grow. And so our this Bhakti Lata Bij is the sprout of devotion. We have to let it grow and to continually nourish it. So the devotee, when he becomes fixed on what he wants, Krishna Prema, ultimate love of Godhead, then he will accept things that are favorable for that, and he'll reject things that are unfavorable. Now that sounds like a very elevated stage. And it is. However, we can go there anytime we want. But it takes work. You know, we have to let go of our material consciousness and our material attachments. Now, it doesn't work so well if we're just spending our time just letting go. Letting go. No. We fill our life with service to Krishna. That will push out the service to self. It's like when you fill this bottle up with water, the air leaves. Right now, there's air in there. I can't get the air out, but if I put more water in there, the air will go. If I put more air in, the water will have to go. See? So the more we put in service to Krishna, the more our service to self and the material energy will go. It's just that simple. And we shouldn't feel disappointed if that's not. We will come to periods. It's like stair steps. You'll come to periods where you'll plateau for a while, you know, and you may start to think, I'm just not doing what I could do. I could do so much more. I could be doing so much better. And when you have that realization, you're just about to go into another big step. All of a sudden you find, because as you have that desire, Krishna will fulfill that desire. By the same token, if you find yourself wanting a position of less devotion, less service, Krishna will fulfill that desire. And I want the material energy. Krishna says, okay, you can have it. If you want to love me, then you can have that. But I'm not going to force you to love me. As you get to know me, you will love me more and more. So as you desire, I will give you. And if you desire to abandon me altogether, become an atheist, I'll give you faith to become an atheist. I'll give you what you desire. And ultimately, you're going to want me. Question is when. And that's up to you. That's up to us as individuals. Did you have a question?
I do. So, my experience has been that those steps come more quickly when we read Prabhupada's books, when we study Prabhupada's books regularly. Why is that?
Well, because we're getting a direct infusion of knowledge, of spiritual knowledge. You see, we're actually getting to associate directly with Srila Prabhupada. He's actually imparting the Vedic knowledge to you, the knowledge of how to become a bhakti yogi. And sometimes you could read the Bhagavad Gita and you think, well, that was a great book. I read it cover to cover. It was pretty good. But if you read it again, you'll have more realization the second time. Because as you're ready for that realization, Krishna will give it to you. And you could read it again a week later and have a different, further realization. You'll read things that you'll swear, I didn't believe that was there when I read it last week. I've had that experience. Trust me, this is real. I remember I went to Govardhan one time. It's been a long time in Govardhan. Used to study Bhagavad Gita again and again and again and again. And I'd read it over and over and over. And every time I thought, I didn't know that was in here. I've been reading it at that time for 38 years. It's blowing my mind. Krishna, you're blowing my mind here. And I'm thinking Krishna's probably saying, well, you wanted me to blow your mind, so I'm doing it. You see. So the more we read, the more we know, the more we gain.
And when Prabhupada was at Grihastha, he was studying Bhagavatam regularly 4 hours a day. In addition to doing all his business and household affairs.
Yeah. I don't doubt it, because Prabhupada, he didn't sleep a great deal. He felt that sleeping was a waste of time. But we can't jump to that level, but we can take steps to go to that level. You see, we should have a daily regimen of reading. You know, Krishna's talking to you when you read. He's communicating. I recommend Bhagavad Gita, and for now, Krishna book. Everybody read Krishna book. Oh, it's amazing the relationship you see forming between you and Krishna when you read the stories of his pastimes. You think, what a rascal. No wonder Mother Yashoda tied you up with a rope. You were terrible. You're a naughty kid. You see. So it's very wonderful to experience these pastimes. They soften the heart. They set the stage for love. How can you love somebody if you don't know them? It's not possible. You can love the idea of a person. You know, maybe you hear their name and you hear a little bit about them. But when you hear a lot about how they are, especially when they're the spring, then it's love. Wow, what a guy. I can't wait to meet him. He's such a joker. Boy, I'm starting to think now of jokes that I'm going to pull on him when I get there. When I get back, I'm going to give him a handful. You see, I can't wait. See, a lot of devotees find themselves thinking after they read Krishna book that he's so naughty. And so, this is Krishna. You can do this with Krishna. Of course, you have to accept the consequences. He's going to pull some joke on you. You see. And here we are eternally, sharing this loving relationship. So, we, especially now at this stage, and forever, but it's very important now to read Krishna book. Prabhupada said, everybody who reads Krishna book will become a devotee. Everybody who reads Krishna book will become a devotee. You can't miss. You read about this Krishna and you think, I've got to see this guy. I just got to see this. No awe and reverence. He's just wonderful Krishna. Just sweet Krishna. So, let me read on. I want to finish this, and then we'll have a couple of minutes maybe for discussion. I want to make sure I finish this. Prabhupada says, one should be captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world and extricate himself from this false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it's very difficult to cut that attachment. But if he takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. One has to associate himself with devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness. One should search out a society dedicated to Krishna consciousness and learn how to discharge devotional service. In this way, he can cut off his attachment to the material world. One cannot become detached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in saffron cloth. He must become attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service, as described in the 12th chapter, is the only way to get out of this false representation of the real tree. Maya, the opposite. The upside down tree. You know that story. You know that comparison Prabhupada has. The reflection. The reflected tree is unreal. The real tree, spiritual world, material world is a reflection, a perverted reflection. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service as described in the 12th chapter is the only way to get out of this false representation of the real tree. In chapter 14, the contamination of all kinds of processes by material nature is described. Only devotional service is described as purely transcendental. The words Paramam Brahma are very important here. Actually, every nook and corner is the property of the Supreme Lord. But the spiritual world is Paramam, full of 6 opulences. The Katha Upanishad 2.2.15 confirms that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra trakam. For the whole spiritual sky is illuminated by the For the whole spiritual sky is illuminated by the eternal potency of the Supreme Lord. That supreme abode can be achieved only by surrender and no other means. Surrender to Krishna is the only way to get his loving exchange. That's what lovers do. They surrender. I love you. What can I do for you? How can I serve? See, when that spark of love, we know we've had it in our lives. And that spark of love first ignites. You think, oh, I can't think of anything but you. Isn't it when you fall in love? You're at work thinking of your lover. You know, you might have a picture of them on your dashboard, on your desk at work, on your screensaver. See, whatever. And that screensaver on your phone. Thinking, I love her. I love. I want to do something to make this person happy. I just can't wait to see them again. I can't get them out of my mind. You see. And then the spark starts to fade a little bit. For a moment, we were reminded of true love. And that true love is for Krishna. You see. Let's get to the point where we have Krishna on our screensaver. You see. Where we just can't bring our minds to think of anything but Krishna. Thinking of him constantly, every day. That's Krishna consciousness. That's what this movement's all about. To give people a chance to become Krishna conscious of Krishna. You see? Now we're not saying that we're the only way. If we don't do it our way, you're going to burn in hell. We're not saying that. We're not saying our way is better than your way if you have a different way. We're just saying, wake up. We know what everybody wants. Some people may say, no, I'm an individual. I don't need no stinking love.
I don't need no stinking
I
lie.
don't need no stinking love. We don't need no stinking badges. You see? I don't need it. Why? I have more. And I have my this and I have my that. I have enough money. I can buy as much love as I want. You know, I can buy all the happiness I want. Or if I don't have it today, well, I soon will. If I pursue it. You see? So, Some people feel that way. Some people may feel I don't need love. But we're made of love. It's our constitutional position to exchange supreme love, not fading love. We have that love and it fades. It wasn't love. Lust flared. You know? That hadn't happened to me. Anybody here?
No.
We need to ignite that love for Krishna by associating together. Once we taste that little bit of love, all it takes is a little bit, then we'll learn to truly love each other. You see? We need to create a loving environment so that everybody that comes here says, you know, I don't know if I believe in those people. They're doing all this stuff all the time, and beating the drums and claiming things and singing and bowing down. But I feel wonderful. What is it about these Hare Krishnas that makes me feel so good? You know, when I go there, I feel like I belong. I don't know how. You see? Because we should learn how to love all living entities. Not just the human beings, all living entities. You see? So, any questions before we wrap it up? Comments? How about
Am I
you?
late?
A little bit.
I don't think. We were chanting our glories.
That's good, I missed that.
Yeah, we wait for when you're not around because we know you don't want to hear it. That's why your ears ring.
Yeah, sorry, actually, I have so much to do in the office.
I know. I see those blue shoes outside the door, and I know you're in there hammering away on something. So, but we're trying to encourage everybody to help you more, as much as possible. I'm always trying to think of how we can get more help for you. And I know you won't relax. You'll just increase the service around here. You know, it's creating a monster to give her service, and the level goes up. You know, she'll still work as hard, maybe even harder, but engage more people. So this is lust to serve Krishna. This is called lolyam.
What is it called?
Lolyam. Sanskrit word lolyam.
Love.
Means a spiritual lust. A lust to serve Krishna. Lust is not bad. Lust is good. Lust, friend. But turn it towards the right direction. Turn it towards serving Krishna. Become lusty to serve Krishna. In the liberated stage in Goloka Vrindavan, you're lusty as anything. Much more lusty than you are now. Lust to serve Krishna. It's maddening the way you want to serve, to see Krishna smile, to please Krishna, and become lusty after it. So, lust isn't bad, it's just directed the wrong way. And when it comes in contact with the mode of passion, it mutates. Then you have material lust. Material lust can never be satisfied. You may think it is for a while, but then it goes away. So after enough of that, what comes next? Anger. Krodha. Anger. And the anger burns like fire because I can't get what I strongly desire. And now I'm mad at you because you're the only thing that's always been in my way. And him too. The two of you conspire.
Yeah, we did that before we came.
I know it. You see, we start to blame other people, point the finger. You see, from that, delusion comes, which is the state of the world. Just take our lust and point it towards Krishna, and then we'll become satisfied. So, I think we should wrap it up. Thank you all so much. All glories to Krishna.